Howdy, friends and floorheads. We were discussing just before how long has it been since we've been together, and it has been a while. So, welcome to episode 4 of Mothership. For those of you that have not been keeping up, we are done with Act 1 of Dead Planet, which was happened on the Alexis. These three plus one other one was able to safely get survive the Alexis before they were pulled down to this moon. Now that they're on this moon, they have found a small colony. They were brought into this colony, which appears to be made from different parts and pieces of a starship cruiser. It is underground. They went through a decon process that was very odd, and they now just step out. So I'm imagining the camera coming in, fading in from black. And let's start way above the surface of this moon. We can see the Alexis. It is tethered to this moon, but not been pulled down yet, the way that their ship was pulled down. And as we zoom in, we can see the front door, this large steel cargo hold door that led inside. We go inside. It's dark. It is ramshackled, pieced together, just hallways. Some of the hallways are some of the rooms are connected with carved out dirt and sand from the desert plant or the desert moon itself. And we see these four gentlemen stepping out of the decon area. They have all of their equipment. There are guards there that are in hazmat suits, and they've been told that they are cleared after a very strange interaction with a gentleman calling himself John, who did a final inspection to make sure that everybody was clean. So as the four of you stand there, a robed figure approaches. He's tall, he's slender, and he's wearing what appears to be kind of white robes, but when you look at it closer, you realize it's a patchwork of several different fabrics, several different shades of white that have been sewn together into this long white cloak and this hood. You can see his hands, very slender, long, spider-like fingers. He looks up. He's got a very thin face. He's missing an eye. And he says, "Welcome to the Tyrant Beggar. I am son Franklin. It is my understanding that the four of you might need a night's rest."
I'm not sure if night's rest, but yeah, we would just like to understand what's going on here. There was a discussion about like us accepting like to join you or not. Maybe it would be good to get that settled first.
There's also the imminent threat of pulling the Alexis down onto this planet.
So we got word that you warned us not to bring the Alexis down. We have halted the pull. It is now floating well above the moon. As for the offer, that is not an offer for a son like me to make. Only Sister Malta can make that offer. It's my understanding she has scheduled a breakfast with you tomorrow morning. I'm sure she'll answer all questions that you have. Shall I take you to the dormitories?
I mean, I guess there's nothing else to do. Okay, let's go to our dormitories then.
Actually, what I think I want to do is I'd like to get a body save from each of you. So let's start with Watts' body save. So a nice success from you, Frankie. Can you give me a body save?
Yes, sir.
Okay, a failure from Frankie. How about Major Farrell? Nice success from the Major. And Arlo.
This will be fine. Perfect.
All right. So Watts, as this person calling himself Son Franklin, discusses you having a long day and possibly being tired. Obviously, that doesn't really apply to you. But that said, you do need at times to recharge and to refresh and filter the fluids that run through your android body. And doing a quick self-diagnosis, you realize that you're good. You probably aren't that tired or exhausted, and you don't feel that the filtration is needed right now, and your power supply seems fine. It's biometric. And then major for you, I think the adrenaline of all of this has kept you going and continues to keep you going. Sure, rest would be great, but you're not exhausted. That's not the case for Frankie and Arlo. I think as the Son Franklin mentions that, just exhaustion wipes over you for the both of you.
Yeah, for Arlo, I've been in space for so long, and having to walk this long, my
Good
knees are
point.
probably killing me.
Yeah, and for Frankie, he just got out of cryo sleep. Like he was jolted out of a long rest. That his adrenaline's wearing down, and he's on the crash.
Got hibernation sickness.
Yeah.
So with his long spindly fingers, this Son Franklin kind of gestures for you to follow him, and he begins walking. And keep in mind that, for any of you that are at 6 foot or maybe slightly above 6 foot, you got to kind of tilt your head a little bit at times to go through these. These ceilings are very low. You've got a very, very cramped feeling as you work your way through this. Everybody following?
Yes, so far we're following.
Yeah.
So he takes you to kind of an intersection, and it's one of those hallways which was obviously carved to connect different pieces here. And he gestures to the left. He goes, "Here are the dormitories. We have got 4 beds already set up for you. We will send somebody for you in the morning, and they will take you to breakfast."
Excellent. So I guess we'll be on our way then. Let's go, gentlemen.
What part of the facility is accessible to us in the meantime?
We would encourage you at this time to stay in the dormitories till morning. If you do need to leave, we would like for you to be escorted until you're accepted into the colony. You can there'll be a buzzer at the far end of the dormitories. If you wish to hit it, we will have a guard come, and they'd be happy to escort you.
You had to ask Mr. Watts, didn't you?
Could I get a glass of water?
I will have that brought to yes, I'll bring you a glass. There's, of course, water in the dormitories. So, and he kind of gestures to one of the guards. He goes, "Stevens, go get, you are again."
Arlo.
Arlo, get our friend Arlo here a glass so that he can sing. And there's 2 others. The android doesn't need any. Let's get 3 glasses for our guests. And you see kind of the guard vanishes down a hallway. We step into the dormitories.
Is it a room with 2 bunk beds for 4 of us, or is it like room for other 30 people as well?
No, in fact, when you step into it, the best way to describe it is cavernous. It is a huge, huge area. And the first thing that hits you is it smells like a locker room. It's just got like a BO sweat smell to it. And you look around and you can see stacked in rows what were likely at one point cryopods of all different makes and fashion, but they've all been kind of cut in half and turned into beds. And there's people milling about. I think one of the first things that all of you notice is that apparently being discreet or self-conscious doesn't appear to be something that happens here in the colony. There are people in different states of clothing, both male and female, just kind of walking around, getting into bed. Some are sleeping, and they're just kind of milling about, changing in front of everybody. Franklin gestures, and you can see 4 stacked cryopod beds that he gestures towards the front. And he explains to you that those are yours, and chuckles that Of course, the android. There's a filtration charging station in the back left corner. You're welcome to use that, or you're welcome to rest your body in the bed here as well. There's clotheslines that have been strung up. You've got see clothes that are drying on there. It's pretty cramped.
How well lit is it?
There's different forms of lighting spread around, right? So you've got some naked light bulbs here, some what looks like floodlights there. So it's reasonably well lit.
Okay, I would be waiting for Son Franklin to leave us alone, and then I would try to look for a group that would seem chatty, if that's a definition. Maybe they're talking among themselves, and I would try to approach them.
Sure. So Son Franklin leaves, and the door slams behind you. It's a huge airlock door, and you don't hear any kind of locking or anything happening. Soon after that, our guard friend comes with 3 glasses. Some of them one of them's metal, 2 of them are actual glass, all not from the same place, and kind of hands them to Frankie, sorry.
I observe. I'm looking for floaties. I'm looking for if it's clear, if it's pulled up to the light. I'm analyzing this thing.
Yeah, as you look at it, clean's probably a strong word, but I don't necessarily think there's nothing that makes you suspicious of them.
Does it smell like piss?
It does not.
All right, so I just hand it off like it's normal water.
Okay. So the guard leaves, though you do notice, Major, as he does leave and the door clangs, there is a window to the airlock, a small portal, and you can see the back of his head. So apparently he just left the dormitory. He hasn't really left the vicinity, if you know what I mean. He seems to be outside the door.
Okay, so he's on guard duty, presumably.
Yeah, but he's not looking in. So you don't seem to have his purview, and being who you are, and Frankie, you're the same as a Marine, you kind of scan immediately, and there's nobody that kind of indicates themselves as authority or a guard or anybody dressed or even armed. In fact, at best guess, it looks like the 4 of you are the only one that are armed. And to give you an idea, there's about 30 people and kind of hanging around. Some are asleep, some are walking around, some are hanging clothes.
Are there any terminals in here?
No.
So Arlo climbs up to the 3rd highest of the beds, so that there's a bed still above him.
Mm-hmm.
And he sits up in there, takes his glass of water, and he's trying to scope out the place without looking obvious. He's looking for specifically 2 things: cameras and anyone who's watching him.
So you have no trouble spotting the camera. It's pretty high up, far down. It looks like it's got a pretty good purview of the room because it's mounted above the highest of the bunks. As best as you can tell, you might have some privacy if you went to the far back corner, which is where he kind of gestured to where the water was located. But yeah, there is a camera, and people are curious. So the 10 or 15 people that are kind of awake are looking, and as soon as you make eye contact with them, Marlo, they kind of turn away. So nobody seems to be engaging you, but people are paying attention to the 4 newbies, that's for sure.
And I could turn my back to the camera at least, so they wouldn't be able to see what my hands are doing?
No question.
Okay. So as soon as people start ignoring what I'm doing, I actually take out, as quietly as possible and not as obvious as I can, I take out one of the tomato seeds,
Mm-hmm.
and I wrap it up in maybe some loose lint or cloth that I might have on myself, and then I dip it in the water, and then I kind of put it to the side, anywhere I could kind of tuck it into the bed or into the pod or whatever, just kind of letting it do its thing.
Excellent. Done. All right. Watts, what are you doing?
Well, if there's not a terminal, I'm looking for anything that I could gather any like logs or data from, even like I'm assuming that even like the cryopods have like internal logs and stuff like that, but I'm not sure how useful any of that would be. So kind of looking around to see what in the room aside from the cryopods even has any electronic components at all, really.
Yeah. So it
Or if
looks
there's
like,
any androids.
yeah. So no other androids. That is something you immediately recognize. The cryopods are all deactivated, right? They're all unplugged. They're just being used for their shape and their shell at this point. And outside of the lighting, it looks like it's a quote unquote unplugged room. Though you do notice the same camera that Arlo does up there in the upper left-hand corner, and it's hardwired. So you see a wire that goes into the wall. It's a good 15 feet above, though.
Is there Wi-Fi?
You get no signal.
Actually, on that note, is there any kind of radio or transmission, any kind of signals that I can detect, like just flipping through different antenna?
Yeah, as you flip through the different frequencies, there appears to be maybe 2 frequencies that are active. They seem to be radio frequencies. Currently, nothing's being discussed on those channels. But as you kind of, flip the channels in your head, you do find 2 active channels.
I'm going to keep one of those on, maybe occasionally switch back and forth if
Sure.
it's possible for me to just listen internally without it being obvious.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
Like
I'll just be monitoring
walking
those then,
radio.
and then- yeah. And then I'll just kind of be attending Hezekiah, I think.
How about you, Frankie?
Frankie, although air quotes is a Marine, trained as a Marine, he was really just low-level security to tighten up the ship. He's exhausted to the point where he's going to get on the bunk above Arlo without really thinking about it and just
Power move.
resting. Yeah, just
Crash out.
He's done. He's in over his head. This is the first time he's seen any kind of true situation like this, so he's out. He's done.
Major for sure would react on Frankie going there, and he would be like, "Frankie, like you're not serious. You can't be going to bed now. We have to deal with stuff here first."
Frankie kind of stumbles and looks back and kind of thinks to himself, like, "Fuck, okay."
Just
It may
Where
be
do you
wise
want me,
to
boss?
just-
He just says, "Where do you want me, boss?"
just first
It
follow
may be
us.
wise to take turns resting while we have an opportunity if there are people who need to.
We'll take turns, but we need to think about our plan. And first, let's interact with the locals, or I don't know, see where that takes us, and we will discuss our plan next. But no sleeping on the job, soldier, for now. We'll just let Arlo doze off for a bit.
Yeah, hearing that, Arlo just rolls over.
So
I am a soldier.
Frankie's just looking at Arlo going, "Fuck, I wish I could do that." All right, whatever.
So, Major, as you're looking around, kind of assessing the situation, everybody seems to be in some sort of activity, right? So they're pulling down laundry, hanging laundry, they're kind of getting up into bed. Some appear to be waking and going to the where the water is to refresh themselves or to drink, except for a group off to your right. As you look over to your right, you see they look like a bunch of kids. And when I say kids, I would say teenagers. And all of them motley dressed, but they all kind of seem to be surrounding and talking to a person sitting off the edge of their bunk. And he's got, looks like made out of metal, kind of patchwork guitar of some sort. And he's not really playing it. He's just got it in front of him, and you can see that discussions are happening. So if you're looking for anybody chatty or not focused on a particular task, that seems to be your best target.
Okay, I will approach the guitar group then.
God, don't engage the guy that brings the guitar.
He plays Wonderwall.
Oh, God.
So as you get closer to him, Major, the things get hushed. And you look at this kid. He's dark skinned. He's got about half of his head shaved, and it looks like his hair is not meant for dreads, but it looks like it's dreaded out by purpose as opposed to occurring naturally. He's got a kind of a leatherish jacket on, and he looks up and he goes, you're part of the new ones.
Yes, greetings. I'm Major Farrell. I'm here with my with the company. This is Mr. Watts, and this is Mr. Bilfoy, if I remember correctly. We just arrived to this group, and we were wondering if you could show us around, like to see like here and there what to show us the ropes a little bit. So we're just completely new here, so we really don't know what we're doing here, and since you seemed like a friendly face who could help us, maybe.
They all kind of chuckle when you say that. And this guy goes, "You ask a lot of questions for the new guys. So where'd you come from, old man?"
So we were on the ship that was just tugged here from the space called Province, I believe. And we just went through hell, basically. And we are kind of glad to be able to see some people around here, to be honest, because the things that we've seen in the space, you don't want to see them.
So what brought you to the planet? Like, how'd you get here? Did Screamers bring you down?
Yes, Scream. As far as I understood, Screamers brought us down.
And your hyperdrive doesn't work, right?
Yeah, it's completely shut off.
And we're very off course of where we were headed, with no explanation as of yet.
That's cool. That's cool. So your ship, did they drag it all the way down? Is it on the moon?
It's not just yet. We gave them the warning that it's not exactly safe to put it on the ground, because there still might be these alien forms, or I don't know, some.
Well, the
something
Providence has landed. The Alexis is still in space. Although I don't
the
know why it
Alexis.
stopped its momentum.
Okay, yeah. Messed up there a little bit, but it's a shock from the encounter.
So when he kind of looks around, he goes, "What condition is your ship in?"
Frankie
The one they
hears that.
grounded.
Frankie hears that and steps forward and kind of whispers into Major's ear. We might want to be careful on the amount of detail. This guy is way too fishy. And steps back.
I know what I'm
Particularly
doing.
about what's going on the Alexis.
Yeah. So we were brought down, and we were not able to continue in the hyperspace. So basically, then we met your friends out there. He introduced us to what you have here, but he was really scarce on anything. And then he showed us like to give us accommodation here and water, and then we're here and we really don't know like what to do. So that's why I'm going here to ask you for some introduction over here, or how does this work?
So they have you talk to the old lady yet?
Old lady, you mean Miss Malta?
Yeah.
No,
Old
not
Lady Malta.
really. Yeah, we should talk to her tomorrow, I believe, but it's still really confusing.
So he kind of turns to one of the guys that are sitting next to him. He goes, "They haven't gotten the offer yet." Turns back and looks at you and goes, "So you're not part of the colony yet? You guys staying?"
We don't really know. Like, you mentioned some offer. What do you mean by that? By the offer? What's that about?
Man, I get in trouble if I talk about it. She'll talk about it with you. But here's the thing, man. Everybody's gonna tell you can't get off this planet, off this moon. And you know what? Maybe they're right. So you probably should think about that.
You mean you tried to get off this moon, or?
We've been trying for 30 some odd years now, trying to get off this place. I mean, I was born here. But yeah, I mean, that's what my parents tried to do before they died. And, but yeah, everybody has schemes and stuff like that. But
so what's holding you here? I mean, like, is Malta holding you here, or is it the technology on this planet? Do you know?
I mean, like, Brecht runs the scrapyard. Brecht is, he says he's going to build us a ship, but I don't know what good that's going to do, because there ain't no hyperdrive and it don't work. So what are we going to do? Fly through space for 700 years until we find something? So, whatever. And You know, it is what it is, man. We're here.
Okay, I see that you've accepted your stay here. So,
And that actually gets some giggles. Not from him though.
mhm. So look, I'm really interested in the offer. Why would you get into trouble for that? Because it seems that you all went through this offer process or whatnot.
No, I mean, I I didn't have a choice. I was a kid. But you know, it's that they got this religion thing going. I don't think any of us kids, you know, jive on, at least none of us do. And it's all tied to that, man. You know, she'll explain the whole thing for you, but she's already not a she's already not a big fan of me. So I'm not I'm not gonna turn the volume up on that.
You say they. Are there two casts here? Is it you and them?
I like to think so.
Is he missing parts?
Nothing visible.
Ooh.
I prefer it would be visible.
Do you have any kids? Oh, the giggles in the back that came from his previous statement. Was there a specific group of people or a person that's?
He's got about like 6 kids of varying ages. Probably the youngest there you'd guess is around 12 or so. A couple girls, a couple boys. Maybe the oldest is closest to him. You would venture to guess this kid, who seems to be kind of the ringleader, the way that everybody's kind of, you know, deferring to him. He might be 17, 18.
Did he react to them laughing?
He kind of smirked a little bit, but didn't participate in the giggles.
Got it.
So listen, old man, after you guys have your little chit chat with the old lady, you know what? Why don't I take you around?
Okay.
Why don't I give you a tour? Just recommend you don't tell her the dean's the one walking you around.
Okay, sure. I appreciate that, Dean. Talk to you later then. And
Hey, sleep tight.
yeah, I guess I will. I will have to, anyhow. See you around, kid. We walk away.
And as soon as you guys are out of earshot, everybody leans in. There's all kinds of chitter chatter going on. So much to discuss after the 3 of you step away.
Okay, let's regroup at our bunk. Would there be like more secluded space that we at least would think that nobody could like see us and maybe saw what we're talking about? Maybe there is a
Can we
listening
just
device
put a
that we
bunk
can.
between us and the camera?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can get behind some of the bunks. A place that appears to be blind to the camera is back at the watering station. And we'll say Frankie went and got everybody water. And Frankie, when you went back there, you could see like separated out. There was kind of a sink, and there appears to be people. That's where they're washing their clothes. That's where they're refreshing themselves. Kind of a long trough type sink. And then there was a designated, basically drinking fountain. And you saw people filling up different containers there. But if there's a blind spot in this room, it's there. To the
By the
camera you
water
know
cooler.
about.
Okay, so we'd have to chat next to the watering station, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go there and talk. What do we do next? And we should. I guess we will need to refresh and get some sleep, and we will take turns on taking guard. We can't just let our guard down fully. But okay, let's use this time. Maybe there will not be other time where we could get some sleep in.
Arlo has a
Okay.
perfectly timed snore.
So the 3 of you kind of head back, and as you're headed back through the maze of these cryo bunks, there's a cling, cling as the lights dim. So some of the lights that have been lighting up the room, you see them dim, and that causes people to scurry a little bit. So everybody's kind of wrapping up whatever they're in the process of doing and kind of moving to the different bunks. It also indicates maybe 1 or 2 or 3 people are now hurrying up and getting dressed that have come out of the cryo bunks, and you see them heading out. But we'll have you back in the back corner, and let's say you wait a minute or two as people kind of wrap up what they were doing, and the majority of the room is empty as far as people walking around. Everybody seems to have left, the few that left, and then with the dimming of the lights, the rest seem to be in cryo beds, I should say. So the 3 of you are essentially alone, and if you whisper, you're out of earshot of the closest cryo bed.
We just need to talk when Arlo's well-timed snore hits, so it's offset from each other.
Yeah, if
That
you
won't be
watch
hard
for
to
it,
do.
no.
Yeah.
So, Mr. Watts, what's your take on this one? It seems that this kid is not a fan of the locals, but we should still be on our guard, nevertheless.
It's curious to me that there is a prominent religion, and yet not everyone here is indoctrinated into it. Being raised in a situation, if they wanted to, they would easily be able to make all new children fully dedicated. So they must not care that much to make sure that everyone is a part of whatever religion this is.
I guess it depends on what's the offer, because everybody knows about it, but they don't want to talk about it. So that's
the offer seems to be only for newcomers who arrive on the planet. I'm guessing, since he wasn't missing any parts, that since he was born here, he was grandfathered in and didn't need to.
Yeah, I'd still like to have some hope that the offer doesn't include taking any of our parts. So yeah, keep those.
I
coins
find
for
the
you.
odds of that extremely low.
Yeah, well, I'd like to have some wishful thinking at least. So, Mr. Frankie, what's your take on this situation?
I did not like how Dean was asking a lot of questions, but we might be able to utilize him depending on what happens tomorrow morning. So he might be somebody that we can have in our back pocket just in case. He's young enough. We might be able to manipulate him and his little ragtag of youngsters for whatever we need.
I mean, from strategical perspective, we can't make enemies out of everyone. So at least if we shed some information here and there, it might help us in the long run. But you're right, we should be careful about this. So,
you notice anybody else with weapons in that room? Or were we the only ones with weapons?
Yeah, the only ones that appeared to have weapons were you. Now, of course, the guards and stuff had different, guns and things like that. But inside the dormitory here, no.
Okay.
any of the guards had a shotgun, or just asking?
I'm
Asking
sure
for
there
a
was a
friend.
shotgun or two that you saw. I'm sure there was some SMG type weapons as well. Again, just like everything else here, it's just all just patchwork mismatched. Scavenged is probably, and salvaged are probably the words that pop into your head as you look at everything, from the walls to what people are wearing and everything.
I'm wondering if we can't use the situation on the Alexis to our advantage if we need to cause chaos on this planet. It's risky, but it might sever their grasp over all of their prisoners here enough for us to make some kind of escape.
I mean, we could keep that idea in the back pocket, but you haven't been there, Mr. Watts. That's some rough stuff. If we unleash whatever is inside, that might be the last thing that we do here. And I'm not necessarily a fan of killing everybody here.
I was not suggesting it as a plan A. I was just bringing it up as a potential to keep in mind. I agree. It's not ideal.
Yeah, good thing to keep it on our minds for the strategic perspective. Okay. So what
Is
about
it worth trying to gain access to that camera? I do have a rigging gun that I could try to get up there.
So are you telling me you want to? So the rigging gun is you can approach electronics like from range, or just it's a grappling hook?
It's a harpoon gun that I'd be able to embed in the wall nearby, climb up and have access to the camera. I don't know if it's worth it necessarily if we get anything useful out of accessing the camera network.
We might need to do that in the future. I'm not sure if we want to do that now to put more attention on us. Everybody's watching us, so let's be careful
Agreed.
about that. let's let's see what resources do we have left. Basically, I have something like I have some electronic tool set, some food, but I have nothing like useful. I have just my marine equipment basically, so I'm ready to fight, but that's it.
Yeah, Frankie's in the same situation. He's still stocked with grenades and ammo, but outside of
we have-
that, I was relying
have-
on what's on the ship.
I have a flare gun, the rigging gun, and the basic supplies, same as a excavation kit.
So I'm thinking, what resource could we use for bargaining? I guess I'm not sure if I want to use food, but it might be local money basically. So if you use our provisions,
First aid kit, water
Yeah.
filter, things like that.
yeah, this sounds good here. So first aid kits also might be quite a big value here. So yeah, we might keep them for future negotiations then. Okay, I suggest before we take guards and go to sleep, let's try to look outside. I don't know. We can use excuse to use. Is there a restroom in these dormitories?
There's a place to do your business. It's not in a room though. Just like everything else, people just
It's like hole in the middle of the room.
yeah, they're just in front of everybody. So yeah, there's a couple places that look like refurbished from different ships and stuff.
Is there like complimentary eye blinds at least for the?
But like I said, people don't seem to be real discreet or self-conscious here.
I'm thinking, what could be the excuse for us to go out of the dormitories for something that's not in there? So if we can go to the restrooms, yeah.
We could say we think we've lost something and think it's back in the lockers.
Yeah, okay. Let's do that then. Let's try to see if the guard will let us in. Anything else before we proceed?
I think we should
have
stay in
somebody-
groups of two.
Watch. Yeah, somebody needs to stay back with Arlo. If we've got two Marines on this, maybe Frankie being not the lead of no leader by any means. He's more of a follower. Maybe he'd be the guy to stay back.
Yeah,
He's quick
Frankie.
to volunteer. I'll go watch Arlo.
Yeah, I hope you are watching Arlo and it's sleeping in with him.
I'm a good big spoon. I'll protect him.
All right, so we're gonna have Frankie kind of head back to the bunk. He's gonna take that top bunk. You're gonna struggle to stay awake though, Frankie, but we'll have you awake for now. So Major and Watts, are you guys heading back to the front door? Is that the plan?
Yeah, we'll try to buzz the guard as they instructed us.
So as you go up there, there's a little buzzer next to it. You hit the buzzer and door opens, and the guy that brought the glasses goes, "Yep."
So you must be Miss Guard Stevens, right? They told us to contact you in case that we need to get out of the dormitories. It seems that we forgot something in the lockers after the decontamination process. Like if you would walk us out or let us out, then we could get the stuff ourselves.
What'd you forget?
It was
A very high power flashlight.
Describe it to me. I'll send one of the guys to go get it for you.
It's black.
Okay. So big black flashlight. Got it.
No, it's tiny. You might not see it.
Oh, it's a tiny flashlight. Okay. All right. Small flashlight, black. Got it. You guys forget anything else? Or is that it?
I mean, I left my my notes there as well, and I prefer that if nobody sees them, I will
won't
share
look.
mine.
What is it? Like a book or something? I can't read, so you're fine.
Yeah, I don't want to tell you. It's my notes that I wanted to present to Malta, so I'd rather to take them myself from the locker room.
Ain't nobody gonna read it, man. I'll bring it to you. Just what's
There's
it
lewd
look like?
pictures.
Yeah, just if you could do us this favor and walk us there, and we could grab it ourselves, it would make a.
So you see him. Give me a second. Closes the door. You can see him talking and stuff like that, and he goes, I'll take the robot. You stay here.
Mr. Watts, are you okay to scout the area on your own?
Confirmed.
Okay. Yeah. Thanks a lot, Stevens. Yeah.
All right, so he opens the door up wide enough there, Watts, for you to come through. There's four of them, Stevens plus 3 others.
The preferred term is android.
Yep, sure. Yep, Android. Got it.
So are they like 2 in front of me and 2 behind me here?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to be discreetly looking around and just gathering as much intel on paths, the network where things go. If there's any signage, I guess probably not. But yeah, anything I can pick up.
Yeah, there's no real signage. As he kind of takes you through, and again, some areas are obviously, salvaged pieces of starships, other cruisers, and other things are kind of dug into the planet itself. You see a couple doors. They aren't labeled as you kind of work your way through, but he does take you to the quarantine area. There's 2 guards there, and Stevens goes, "Robot here says they forgot some stuff in the lockers. Did you guys clean out them lockers?" Guys are like, "All right.
May I?"
Yeah, we'll go." So he kind of gestures. They open up the quarantine door. You're back into that quarantined area. We had the benches and the lockers. Lockers are all open. And he's just kind of standing there waiting. Get your flashlight and your reading book thing.
Yeah, I'll go up to one where the door is kind of like obscured or obscures his line of sight, and I'll just like take out. I do have a flashlight and my journal of grudges, so I'm just gonna take those out of my pocket and be like, "Here they are. I found them."
All right, everything cleaned out. We're not going back and forth here. You got everything?
It's empty.
All right, come on. So he escorts you back, Watts, to the dorm and let you back in. Major Farrell, what are you doing while he's gone?
I will check up on our other Marine to see how his on guard duty works here. So I go back to the bunks.
You go up the little makeshift ladder and you get up there and you poke Frankie. Whoa, yep, nope, everything's good. Everything's good.
Are you sleeping on duty, Mr. Belfoy? Really?
I'm sorry.
You know what's at stake here?
I have no words. Just
You're exhausted, Frankie. Like, you are exhausted.
yeah. Did you see what I rolled, Major?
Look at these bags.
Look at these bags. Yeah.
All right, so I've got Arlo sleeping, Frankie on the brink of sleeping. I guess my only question is Major, are you going to go to sleep?
No, I will take guard duty the first round.
You're on guard duty, and Watts, are you hanging out as well?
Yeah, and I'll just report back anything I noticed about the layout and escape routes and stuff. Is that the only one door
that is the
into
one
this
door.
room?
Yeah,
it's not safe. That's not fire safe.
So yeah, not a big consideration here at the Beggar's Tyrant. So Watts and Major, pretty uneventful evening. Every once in a while, somebody get up and go to the bathroom, get back down. Let's start with Arlo. I need a sanity save.
Okay, and this might actually...
Dude, not to throw my fellow players under the bus, but did people gain a stress from failing body saves earlier?
Oh, that's true. Actually, no, I'm not going to do it for that. No, don't worry about it.
Okay.
I just want
And
to
on the other hand,
tired.
If we make it,
thank you, Craig.
Something to remember going forward.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right,
Perfect.
so failure from Arlo. Frankie, can you give me a sanity save?
I'll try.
I don't know which direction you're going in, but I still have that artifact cone thing in my pocket, so just gonna
Gotcha.
toss that horrible thing out there.
So 2 failures. Let's start with Arlo. Arlo, I need a D100.
Oh boy, here we go.
You suffer 100 heart attacks.
It's been so long. It's 1D100.
Yeah. Also, at the very bottom
hit
there,
the
you should be
little
able to hit
pair.
the D100 button there. It's in the far right.
There's
Oh,
2
okay.
D10s next to each other.
Look at that technology.
Click it
Fancy
once and hit
pansy. We're
roll.
using
ooh,
Boom.
Foundry.
Hopefully-
99.
Not
Hopefully
ideal.
you wanted a high roll that time.
So you're dead asleep, Arlo. You're sleeping, and you wake up, and you're on a beach. And it's not a beach you've ever been on before, but you've seen pictures of a beach, right? So like it's a beach. This is the ocean, though I don't think you've ever seen an ocean either. And you kind of stand up and kind of look around, and you feel like a stitch in your stomach. And you look down, and your stomach has opened up, and your intestines are falling out of your gut, and you're frantically trying to like pull them back in, and they keep slipping through your fingers, and you're trying to stuff them back into your abdomen. And it never ends. It doesn't hurt or anything, but it's like really disconcerting, to say the least. And you're looking around to see if anybody else is noticing. Everything is serene around you, and you just have the stress of trying to keep yourself together, trying to literally keep your intestines and your digestive systems in your body. Frankie, I need a D100.
Told you not to eat those tomatoes that much.
Yeah, that must have been it.
Told not to go to sleep too.
All right, an 84. So Frankie, you wake up in your bunk, in the cryo bed, and you kind of look around, and you look down from where you are off the third bunk up, and there's Major Farrell kind of leaned against the bottom bunk. He's dead asleep. Oddly, Watts is standing next to him, but you can recognize that Watts is basically in hibernation. His head is down like this. And you hear a noise that's a little discomforting. So you kind of hop out of the bed, and you kind of shake the Major, and hey, Major. He doesn't seem to be waking up. And you look up, and you kind of push Watts a little bit, and he kind of leans back and comes right back up to him. And you're kind of, looking around, trying to figure out where the noise is. And for no good reason, you start to follow the noise. And it's kind of working your way through this maze of cryo beds, and you go down one, and then you take a left, and it's a whole nother row, and it's just like, and then you turn back around, you're like, all right, I'm going to head back. And you start trying to head back, and you get lost on the way back. You can't find like the cryo bed, like where you were. And you keep kind of working your way around there, and you start to sweat, and God, it's hot. You take your jacket off, and whoa, God, Lord, what is going on? And you just, you pull your shirt off, and next thing you know, you're there naked, and you're just so hot. And you look at your hands, and they start to burn. You see the flesh burning, like someone took a magnifying glass to them, and the sun, and you see your fingers start to blister, and then they go up in flames. So at the end of each one of those, both Frankie and Arlo, you wake up.
So Arlo wakes up sweatier than usual. He's almost always a little sweaty, but at this point he's just a pile of grease. And he immediately kind of pulls up his shirt to look at his stomach, and kind of checking to make sure that was a dream.
Let's go ahead and do a sanity save.
Wonderful.
So,
critical success.
Very nice. You know what? How much stress you got right now?
4.
All right, roll a D4 for me.
Did I do that wrong? I did do that wrong.
Yeah, just hit the D4 on the far left on the little dice tray at the very bottom.
Yeah.
See the little pyramid? There you go. All right, go ahead and wipe out 3 stress. And in my mind, Arlo, you very quickly realized, okay, that was a dream. You kind of piece together in your head what could have caused the dream, just the stress of the lack of control, trying to keep yourself together. You kind of rationalize it away, and really don't have any trouble just kind of falling back to sleep.
I
It's
think
a
that's
great
the
idea
beach.
for a short story.
that scientific mind of yours was able to piece it together. Let's see how Frankie does with his sanity save after waking up as his hands burst into flame.
Yeah, and let's be clear, Frankie yelps when he finally wakes and realizes, hoping to see if anybody woke up, and checks his hands and freaks out for a second. This is not going to be good. It is going to be good.
19. So let's make you a pretty regular dreamer, Frankie. So dreaming is nothing new. There's people that never remember dreams, rarely remember dreams, and I'm let's say Frankie remembers all of his dreams. So Frankie, you're able to, as soon as you realize your hands aren't on fire and you look around, you realize what the hell happened.
He frequently has night terrors because of his Adderall. So
I like it. So you have no trouble.
Too late, man.
No trouble like getting tired again, but that yelping gets the Major's attention and Watts' attention.
Mr. Malfoy, what's happening? Why are you, for the love of God, shouting in the middle of the night?
Yeah, Major, I'm sorry. I get these night terrors, and it just comes and goes. And my scripts are back up on the ship, and I'm sorry. It happens occasionally. I'll try not to make it a regular thing. I'm sorry.
Okay, I understand, soldier. Get some rest.
So it's
How
been
many
about
hours?
5. Oh, go ahead, Watts.
I was going to say, if we're halfway through the night, I'm going to offer Major to take shifts with him so he can get some rest, and be like, Major, I'm up. These night terrors, when I wake, I'm awake. I'm open. How about you get some rest, and I'll keep watch.
Okay, so the Major will check Frankie out, like get closer to him, like uncomfortably close. Say, okay.
Frankie thinks you're coming in for a hug and kind of gives you the hug. And
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No.
Oh no.
Yeah, okay. I can use some rest. Go ahead,
right.
Mr. Malfoy. You take the guard round today or now.
So Frankie, you're up and you're awake. You have no trouble staying awake for the next 5 hours or so, or 4 hours or so. And Major, oh boy, how good does that bed feel? It's not a comfortable bed, but it feels real good. I think you know what's coming, though. Let's start off with your first sanity save.
Let's do this.
All right. Give me my D100.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a different one. That's the same one Frankie rolled.
You dream that Frankie's hands are on fire.
All right. So you're fast asleep, Major, and I think you wake up on the deck of the province. In fact, out of cryo sleep. So I got to do this for DZ. The cryo pod opens up, and you kind of pop yourself out, and Watts is there, and he's just staring at you. And you stand up, and he's looking at you, and it takes you a second because you're adjusting your shirt, pulling your tubes out, and you realize that he's perfectly mimicking you. To the point where you start testing it, right? You like tap the top of your head, and Watts taps the top of his head, and you kind of nudge Watts, and Watts nudges you back, and you're trying to kind of piece together like what the hell's happening, and you're looking at him closer, and as you kind of peer in and look closer to him, he peers in and looks closer to you, and then his face starts to melt. And under his face, as it melts away, is your face. And you wake up.
So I'm thinking, what would Major do? So he would wake up with a shock, like just in a bed. He will not make a sound.
Okay, but I didn't want to interject this, but when Watts goes into charging mode, he does just stand there and stare, and I think he's got a subroutine that like his head automatically turns to like whoever's closest, So he is probably standing there staring at you when you wake up.
Because okay, the next thing I think Major would go and definitely check up on Watts and basically mimic the same thing and hoping that the face would not melt. And
Yeah, he doesn't mimic you. It appears he's, in some sort of hibernation. Let's get a sanity roll.
the sanity, once again, how do I?
It's a sanity save. I think you should be able to click on it right off of your
It's just the safe, okay.
Yep. Sanity save. Look at you. 28 to your 29. All right, so all three of you actually get to relieve some stress. So the way it works in Mothership is you each take a fear save, and if you make it, you each relieve one stress, and then you relieve an additional stress for every 10 you made it by. So who wants to start? Let's start off with Watts. What's your stress at?
It's not mine. I think it's 1.
Okay. So let's
Let me double check.
go ahead and do the fear save and see if you can relieve that one.
Probably.
Okay, so go ahead and wipe yourself out. Frankie.
Yes. Just as a note, though, fear saves made in the presence of an android are at disadvantage.
Okay, so Frankie, let's do that. Make sure you choose disadvantage.
Great.
Jesus.
All right, so you got to take the higher of the two. You missed both of them. So Frankie, keep your stress exactly where it is. Major. All right, you failed both of yours as well, Major, so it didn't matter. And Arlo. You know what? If it makes you feel any better, DZ, they failed either way.
Yeah.
Twice.
If we're resting though, they could level up and reduce stress.
Yeah.
too.
So it is that's real quick. Does anybody want to level up? Does anybody have enough?
So was
I
it
spent all
25?
mine last session.
25 is what we need to be at.
Yeah, the first
Total,
one was
yeah.
10 and the second was 25, so I can level up.
Okay.
Oh, I forgot what that was. Don't want to reduce stress, but I want to increase the saves. Is it by 5 everything or something?
It's 4 to 2 of them.
Which two do you
and then
want to
get 2 skill
increase?
points.
I want to increase sanity from 29 to 33.
Okay.
And I will increase body from 35 to 39.
All right. Frankie,
Was
do you
there-
level up?
No.
Arlo?
No.
Okay.
Was there anything else with the level up? I never remember.
I think that's the
You get 2
choice
skill
there.
points. And either you reduce all of your stress or you gain a resolve.
I gain a resolve then, and the skill points I will sort out later.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Go ahead and add that resolve to your sheet because it'll matter
Yeah, it's there.
when you do panics, which isn't going to happen this session,
Yeah.
so don't worry about it.
That's why I
Watts,
bring it up.
does Watts level up?
Yeah, I added 4 to sanity and armor, and
Okay.
I'll also look at skill points.
All right. So morning
So,
comes. Arlo slept the whole time, except for his little nightmare in the middle of it. Major wakes up. Watts, you are aware, and of course Frankie is there. Surprisingly, like alert. And I think either you wake up just before or as this happens, you hear the clang clang as lights come back up to where they were when you first came into the room about 8 hours or so ago. There's all kinds of activity. People are milling about. And as you stand up, you're within eye shot of the door and you see our friend, son Franklin, step through, and he kind of waits at the door, kind of folding his spider like long fingers. And he's just staring at you.
Staring back. Okay, group. Everybody
yeah.
ready?
Just a really small thing. When Arlo wakes up at first, this has probably been the first time he's ever woken up that's not on the province in years. So just the first thing he says, just blurted out, is, "Where's the captain?" Not really like thinking about it or anything, but he's expecting to be around his crew. And
Yeah.
he isn't seeing anyone there. And then he just kind of snaps out of it with that loud sound that happened. So
And your canned Vienna sausage.
Hey, Craig, during rest, is there an opportunity to heal? I thought we were able to do something with like body saves or something to where if we
I
rest.
think so. Let's double check that
heal.
here.
I think
Where
it's
is healing?
10.3.
10.3. God, I love how this book is organized. When they do the Kickstarter, I hope
This
that
book is fantastic.
that Sean does the same thing. All right, whenever you have a chance to rest for at least 6 hours, your body will attempt to heal your wounds naturally. To represent this, when resting, you should make a body save. So who needs to heal?
Major
Arlo
needs for
does.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead and make your body saves, and then let me know who passes.
Ooh, I passed.
I didn't.
Arlo does with a
It's you
6.
guys with the nightmares.
Look at Arlo. You sure did, because you get to heal. For you, 19 by what you passed it by.
Wow.
Oh my
Okay.
God.
I am at max health then.
That's very nice. Who else passed?
Frankie did.
Okay, by how much?
26, 35, 9.
All right, so heal yourself 9. Anybody
If
else?
Major is injured and doesn't heal, I have a first aid kit.
Okay.
Yeah, and I have a stim pack if we need to.
I didn't heal. I minus 30 HP.
Oh yeah, like I don't have the first aid skill, so if somebody else does, then they should do it. But I have the tools at least, and I can give it a shot.
Yeah.
I mean, I have
Frankie does not have first
biology.
aid.
I guess it's our trusty android who does the honors.
Is
You
it
have
going to be
to-
an intellect check?
I am not sure. Let's take a look here.
I also have art if it helps. If you want it looking nice, at least.
You can sign the.
So yeah,
the
let's
cast.
do an intellect, and then you're going to who has the
I have a first aid kit. That
Yep.
might give advantage or something.
we'll add 10% to that. So we'll up let's roll below your intellect plus 10%.
Okay. Oh yeah.
All right, let's go ahead and let's heal D10.
Oh, nice.
Who's rolling?
62. And Major for sure was not like giving any hints that he is actually injured, but Watts would for sure know based from how he walks and how he interacts that he has some serious scarring or some scratches. I don't know what the monsters use, so it was pretty nasty. So at
All
least
right.
the basic first aid that we used up during the morning routine to patch him up.
So Major, go ahead and Vaslav, go ahead and give me a D10. That's how much you'll heal.
Oh, I thought it was 10. Oh, it was D10. Oh, boy.
All right, go ahead and heal yourself 7.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah. Frankie sees what's going on and grabs a stim pack out of his bag and just kind of hands it to the Major and just walks away. Just he could use it as he wants, but I'll drop my stim pack by 1 to give it to him.
Okay, Major takes it, but doesn't use it up just yet to keep the resources throughout the day. Let's say, not to put everything.
So based off of Son Franklin's body language alone, he seems to be getting a bit impatient.
Arlo grabs the little seed pocket that he put away, pockets it in the same pocket as the little artifact, not with the other seeds, and then proceeds down on the ladder.
All right.
Yeah, Major will be the first one. Is waiting for the rest to group up, and then together, I guess we will walk to.
So if you're the first to approach Son Franklin, he acknowledges you and he goes, "Did you sleep well?"
Yeah, we slept great. You have the best beds in the whole universe.
Are you hungry?
Yes, I guess we could have some bite to eat. Yeah.
Follow me. He turns, starts heading out.
Are the guards following us as well?
They are. Yep. Yep. 1-to-1. So you're outnumbered, but Franklin is the 5th one. And takes you down the hallways through kind of just these catacombs as you're working your way through. I think the only thing of note that you come across is there is one door that is marked, and it's marked goats. And as you're going through and looking at the different airlocks, you notice it is the only one that appears to be locked. So the actual airlock is engaged on that door. As you continue on, he takes you to a room and gestures for you to walk in. As you walk in, it's not a large room, pretty cramped, but there's probably about a 10-foot long table in the center with about 10 chairs that kind of circle it, 8-10 chairs that circle it. At the very end of the table, the far end of the table, there's no chair, but there is a door. Franklin gestures for you to have a seat, but before you sit, you notice in the middle of the table a familiar shape. It's a coned cylinder.
No way.
That's the top is flat, and all of you immediately recognize that shape from what you saw on the Alexis and the different trinkets and things that were being built on the Alexis. What's different about this one, you look at it, it's not made out of metal. Jesus, I think that's made out of android fingers. Let's go to break. We are back. So you all notice the sculpture in the middle of the table. Franklin doesn't seem to acknowledge it at all, and he gestures for each of you to take a seat. Sister Malta should be out any minute.
So, say, son Franklin, what's that statue in the middle? What does it represent?
I honestly couldn't tell you. It's a favorite motif of Lear. She and many that take her class sculpt that shape on a regular basis. I have no idea what it is. It has nothing to do with what I focus on. I find it disconcerting.
What do you focus on?
Yeah.
Oh, I am a son. I am an acolyte of Sister Malta, and I focus on keeping this colony enriched and fulfilled.
Arlo is focused on that thing in the center of the room, eyes locked to it, a hand in his pocket touching that artifact.
Yeah, and it when you get close enough, your initial assessment is right. It looks to be chopped off android fingers that have been shaped and molded, and it's about the size of maybe I don't know, a small soccer ball, a large softball, somewhere in between there.
Frankie's going to be extremely nervous seeing this on that table, noting what happened to his crew and what was going on prior to Cryo, and he's going to be he's already uneasy about the situation, but even worse.
So the door opens as you sit down, and a woman is wheeled in on a chair. And as she's wheeled in, you can see that both of her legs have been amputated.
Of course they are.
Above the knee. Your best guess is she might be 30s, 40s, somewhere in there. Completely shaved head. She's wearing goggles, and can't really tell what they are. They're like welder's goggles. They're real thick, dark lenses on them. Other than, the goggles, you look at her face, and she's about, not malnourished like you saw some of them, but you can see that she's thin, and from an objective standpoint, relatively attractive woman,
no eyes.
unlike Franklin, who was not an attractive man. And she's being wheeled in by a guard, and she's brought to the end of the table, and she waves and she says, "I'll signal for the food. Welcome." children, to the tyrant's beggar.
Thank you for your hospitality and letting us get some sleep and refresh ourselves.
Calm tells me that you've offered your ship as tribute.
We offered nothing. We were pulled out of the sky by your colony.
Well, we've taken nothing from the ship as of yet. I'm sure you have questions.
Okay. So what's going on here? Why did you pull our ship from the space to your little hamlet here?
That's how we survive here on the moon. We scavenge, salvage what we can from the ships that are brought to us and put around orbit around the dead planet. We grab what we can as we rotate and pull them in. We saw that your ship was relatively new arrival, so we saw that as a blessing.
How did the ships get here?
There's all kinds of theories. Most of us believe that they're brought here by brother to sustain us.
And who is brother?
Brother is the one that has kept us safe since we got here. He's the one that saved us, who gave unto himself to sustain us until we got the goats.
The goats.
Yes, you may have passed by it, the pen. We have now, we've got probably 20 or so now goats that we have bred and kept alive. And we, of course, we milk them. We use their meat, but sustain ourselves. We can't any longer rely on provisions being brought down by the ships. Many of the ships we bring down are far too old, and any provisions that are on there are spoiled.
Have you tried to grow anything here?
We have yet to find anything to grow with. Brecht has theories that potentially we could create some artificial light to potentially grow, but there's nothing that grows on the moon, so I don't even know where we would start. Maybe brother will bless us and bring us seeds and bounty.
So, where is this brother? Can we talk to him? He seems to run the place.
No. This is my place. I guess I would be considered in charge, though I consider myself far more spiritual leader. And the brother is long past. He sacrificed himself. Let's see, I am 42, so it would have been 36 years ago. He sacrificed himself to keep the colony alive.
How so?
He gave his body as tribute, and it sustained us for the 2 weeks we needed to stay alive until a salvage came that he brought to us that had our first 2 goats, one which was bearing children. I don't forget what baby goats are called.
Kids.
So, really, kids?
I think so.
Yeah, it's kids. This brother, was he your brother?
He was.
When she talks, like when people ask her different questions, does she like turn to her head to look at them?
She does. She's very calm. Body language is very relaxed.
So all the guards that came with us are still here, or is there more of them even?
No, it's just the 5 of you.
She just signal them to get out and
Mhm.
to talk to us.
Yep, and she mentions that she would signal for the food. So it would appear that there's a way for somebody to see in, right?
How many are on this moon?
We have grown between those that have come to join us, that brother brought to safety here, to those of us that are generational. I think we are well over 130, and we have 4 women who are currently ready to bear.
Are there more colonies, or is it just this one location?
We've explored most of the moon. There were a few ships that we had found that had crashed here long ago, like we had, but they were, I don't know, decades abandoned. I think we are the only colony.
What's the story with the paperweight
Paperweight?
on the table?
Oh, that. That's Lear's work. Her and her students. I tolerate it like I tolerate many things. It does not seem to be in any way hurting our ability to keep the colony alive, and she is very focused on it. So she gave it to me as a gift 6 months ago to decorate the dining room.
Is that how
How
long
long
she's
have-
been making these things?
No, Lear's been doing this for, I guess we're coming on 2 years. She was a bit of a quiet, mousy woman before then, and I guess it was about 2 years ago she started sculpting and making things, and she did all kinds of different types of sculptures. But over the last 8-9 months, it's only this geometric shape of different mediums and different sizes, and I think she's made large versions of this a few times now and destroyed each one of them. I don't talk much to Lear.
How large
Can-
are we talking?
So based on what I've been told, it was, I don't know, I guess 8 feet tall. Was the last one she made. From my understanding, it was made out of mud from the surface, and I guess the structure, I would assume, was some sort of metal. But she often gets useless scrap from Brecht for her sculptures, and she teaches, of course. It keeps the colony active. Many people love that art has returned to the colony.
And where is that sculpture now?
In her studio.
Okay, can we talk to this Lear later, perhaps?
If she is willing to speak to you, yes, but we have business to take care of. You may have noticed that everybody here in the colony has given tribute to brother as a representation of his sacrifice. And you have a choice, and one choice is not to stay with us. You're welcome to return back to your ship and live as long as you can there. But we also are a giving and welcoming group. And if you're willing to give part of your flesh, we would take it as the tribute, and you could become part of our colony. John tells me that you're healthy and worthy of tribute.
How is the sacrifice determined?
It's a discussion. That is really a decision I leave up to John to decide what is fitting for tribute. And to be clear, Android, you would be expected to do the same. Though we would not reuse your tribute.
I mean, what's this tribute
Reused?
good for if you have goats, right? So isn't that like unnecessary?
Was it unnecessary that brother sacrificed himself? We would not be here. Brother regularly now brings us people like you and the provisions and ships that you come in.
I mean, you're saying brother is bringing us down, but it was actually you who shot the tethers to our ship and brought it down to the moon.
That is true. We learned how to gather and sow the gifts that brother brings.
I mean, like, there was an option that we would leave unless you sent your goons there to bring us down. And now it seems that you're giving us option to join you if we mutilate ourselves. Is that correct?
If you're willing to give tribute, I don't like the word I don't like that word that you used. John is very good. It'll be safe. And it will show your dedication and that your willingness to give what it takes to sustain this colony. It is all we have. We're never leaving, despite discussions that you might hear.
Why?
There's no way. There's no hyperdrive here. Even if you have a hyperdrive on your ship, it doesn't function.
Why not?
We don't know. I think maybe this is the restart. Maybe brother wants us to start fresh here and to be focused on making the moon as great as it potentially could be. But why hyperdrives no longer seem to function, I don't know.
You say
That's only for brother to know.
You say no longer. Has that always been the case?
The Tyrant Beggar had a functioning hyperdrive, and it was pulled out from the folds of space, mere meters from the surface of this moon, and we crashed into the moon. And my parents tell that the hyperdrive appeared to function perfectly, but couldn't be activated. And I've heard similar tales told by those that were brought down. Why did you, I assume the same, pulled out of hyperdrive, pulled out of the folds? Did you check your hyperdrive? Did it appear to function?
We were being hit by a very real power surge. Not any spiritual activity. There was something physically draining power from our ship.
Interesting.
You're sure it was not your colony over here?
I mean, we'd have to check with Brecht. I don't know of any kind of energy weapons or anything that Brecht would be using that would cause such a thing. And I've never heard anyone speak of this before.
How long do we have to decide on the offer?
You get the customary 24 hours. I will make your appointment with John. And you either make the appointment or you leave.
May we speak with Lear or see more of the facility in the meantime to know what we're agreeing to?
So my understanding is you've made quite a friendship with Stevens and his group. So I'd be happy to have Stevens escort you where you like. You can't see the goats. They are sacred and critical to our existence. So we do not allow anybody outside of the colony to ever see the pens. But other than that, hey, 8-Bit, welcome.
So if we change our mind, like in 10 days or so, the offer is off the table, or can we still discuss it?
I mean, you're welcome to leave after giving tribute if that's what you wish, but the decision should be clear, which is that you wish to live with, give, and be a part of the colony. But yes, after tribute, if you decide to leave, we hold no prisoners, if that's what you're insinuating.
And before
Everybody
the tribute,
here is free to leave.
If we could just take more time to decide, because it's not a decision that we could make in a few hours' time.
As you sleep, ask brother for guidance before you fall asleep. You'll know by morning if you wish to be part of the colony or if you wish to die on your own.
Frankie chimes in. He's still stuck on a comment made earlier. What happens to this flesh that is given in this tribute?
You mix it with the goat meat so that many can share in your tribute. And she kind of makes a gesture with a hand, and a metal door opens, and there comes Stevens with a couple of his guards, and they have 5 bowls. And they put one, of course, in front of Sister Malta and one in front of each of you. And you look down at this, and it looks like some sort of gruel of some sort. You go smell, you can tell it's cooked meat of some sort. I don't know if any of you have ever had goat before, but that's what it smells like. It smells like goat, and it's kind of like a ground cooked meat. And before you ask, yes, tribute has been made part of our meal today.
Well, I didn't ask Brother for guidance this morning to get this fine meal, so I think I will pass for now. I hope it doesn't insult you in any way, but before we give into our customs, we want to be sure ourselves.
It would be, you've asked for my trust. I've allowed you to keep your weapons. I've allowed you to have a night's sleep here in the beggar. You've now asked to tour our sacred colony, but you won't. You'll insult us by not giving something more sacred than anything, which is food mixed with tribute. This is not plentiful. You understand, right?
Arlo's a vegetarian, and he looks down at that bowl and sees very like a flash of his dream, the intestines pulling out of his stomach, and he looks right at Malta and says, I would like to offer this to someone else. Someone else can eat this for me. I mean no disrespect, but this can feed someone else.
Likewise, I don't require nutrition by human standards.
By human standards, indeed.
Interesting. So, how long do you think you can go without eating, sir?
I'm not really worried about that at the moment. Thank you.
Very well. Well, I'm confident that your body will make it clear that what kindness we're offering is maybe required, but fair. In fact, I will make sure that we'll give it to the children. We'll take it to Stevens, get his bowl. Get the robot's bowl as well. The android, sorry. Get the android's bowl as well, and take it to the school. Take it to the school and divvy it up between the children. That is, you can let them know that our new visitors have offered their tribute meal for the decision times to them.
Frankie quickly passes it up to the guy as well. Not saying anything, just
you as well, sir.
Yeah. Any desserts?
So she turns to the major and she goes, "Are you the leader of this group?"
I am the highest ranking officer, so presumably I'm the leader, yes.
So I would never force any of you to partake during the time of consideration. But I also would like you to know that if none of you partake, I don't know how comfortable we feel about allowing you to speak to anybody here in the colony or getting tours, or I question whether we should be even allowing weapons.
Is there anything else that we could offer as a token of our, let's say, pre-agreement or trust, besides getting that stew.
And Arlo kind of interjects on that. We've actually offered a fair bit already. Have you spoken to? And he tries to remember that character's name.
Calm. Calm mentioned that that you had stuff to trade on the ship, but he also made it clear that you had not offered it to the colony as of yet. Are you offering the ship?
No, that's not what I'm talking about. By giving you the information that we've already provided him, we've saved your lives, this entire colony.
So all he told me is that you were very clear we should not bring down the ship that was next to yours. I've been told it's been halted. I've been told that you are afraid of it, and it was when your questions were finished, the first thing I was going to ask you. So let's make that the discussion topic for now, sir.
And I kind of look at the entire group, kind of glance at everyone to see kind of what everyone's faces are expressing to see if I should continue.
Major just nods. Go ahead.
So at this point, I take that little artifact out of my pocket and I put it on the table. I said, "We're not the only, or you're not the only ones who have seen this. I lost a friend up there before we were pulled down. And on the Alexis is something more devastating than you'll ever experience down here. We saved your lives by letting you know to not pull that thing down here. Everyone down here would have perished, including us."
That is quite a story. That's very short on details, but heavy on the fear-mongering. Did you get that little trinket of yours here?
This I pulled from our ship. And oh geez, what was your original character's name, Nick?
I've retired.
Brett,
He's buried.
I think.
It was Brett.
Brett.
Yeah.
Brett Scarrett.
My friend Brett in the Major here, they saw things. They saw these things over on the Alexis and much more. And I just kind of look at the Major to see if he wanted to include more information or not.
So the Major will reach into his pockets, and he has one of these trinkets as well, because there were plenty. Maybe it's a wooden one this time, and just puts it next to the one. So we start to have our collection of these. So
Frankie kind of leans forward, ready to give information since he was ready to give what his account of what he saw at the beginning of his embarkment here with the crew doing their thing.
We went to Alexis. We discovered something that attacked us. We tried to get through those enemies, and we found all these trinkets, many more than you just see here. It was like tens, maybe hundreds even. And then we met Mr. Franklin here on the ship, who just woke up from the cryosleep, and we escaped, barely saving our lives, back to our ship province. And we were thinking that the Alexis is the source of our troubles being stranded there in the space. And it doesn't seem it's the case. Nevertheless, the danger still lurks on that ship. And
meanwhile, your screamers were firing on us and shot Arlo in the shoulder.
Yes, but that has been equated because from my understanding, both screamers that were sent up did not survive. So tell me,
they took off on an escape vessel. We didn't see what happened to them after that.
You're being very vague about this thing that you obviously are very afraid of. Describe to me what this is that brings such fear in the four of you.
Okay, before we continue, let's say what we're dealing with. We can provide you the information about this ship in exchange for the trust that we could look around your facilities and talk to the people to give us more information of how it works here. Maybe ask brother for guidance to help us with the decision. We can provide you more information about this ship called Alexis and what is on it.
So as you say that, Major, she's nodding, kind of following what you're saying. And she takes the bowl. She brings it in front of her and she reaches her hand into it and she pulls out some of this cooked meat and she holds it up and you see her close her eyes and you can see her lips moving, though she's not saying anything. She takes some bites of it. She keeps her eyes closed and she reaches in. She does it again. Lips moving. It seems to be saying whatever she's saying to herself. She's saying the exact same thing again, though you can't make out what it is. And she eats some of it. It's a little uncomfortable, like 2-3 minutes uncomfortable.
Born agains.
She goes, I think brother says that that's fair. So I will give you limited access to help you inform your decision between a living colony that is growing or your dead ship. But I will keep your appointment, and your refusal for tribute will not be held against you. So I'm willing to keep my side. Now you keep your side. What is on that ship?
Okay.
In our personal cameras, are there records going back the last 12 hours or something that we could play back some of the footage?
One more time?
We had like
our-
body cam.
Yeah, on our body cams, does it record anything? Could we play back some of the footage for her?
So yeah, let's have the recordings there. So yeah, you have recordings on both Frankie and Major's body cams.
So we can provide you quite detailed recordings of what happened there and what enemies you can be facing if you step on that ship or if you put it on the ground. So I share with her the USB stick
Okay.
thingy.
So you pull that out of you and Frankie's, and she puts her hand out and she takes it and she goes, I don't know if Brecht will be able to pull this footage you say on here, but we can try this. This is fair. Give me a description, please. I want to understand. I need to understand if there's dangers or if there's salvation on that ship and you're trying to keep it from the colony. What is on this Alexis that I have orbiting my moon?
What would you call a salvation? There are some kind of mutants. There are this like cockroach beasts.
It's a bit of a bug problem.
Yeah. There are even some bigger ones that are quite scary and resilient to our conventional weapons. They were just charging us, and basically we were escaping and trying to get through the ship internal rooms to lock it in one of those and try to survive it. But usually I've never seen such hostile creatures in my life.
And they weren't human,
They
nor android.
didn't seem to be. They were more like bugs and beasts and mutants. They didn't seem humanoid.
And they didn't register on a bioscan.
I have much to consult with brother. If you're not going to eat, you're welcome to leave. Stevens, here, take you where you wish to go. I advise 2 things. 1, Brecht is critical to our success here, but his fantasy of getting off world is just that. It's a fantasy. And 2, you may run into Dean, one of the children. He also has fantasies that have cropped up out of nowhere about going to the planet. Those, in fact, are fantasies, and you should treat them as such.
Is there anything wrong with these fantasies? Can't people have hopes?
They are both defiant of what brother has here. Brother has brought us here. He sustains us here. He gave unto himself to be here. So these fantasies are in direct defiance of brother. and my tolerance for them is growing thin.
And why didn't you do anything about it yet? Why you're saying you tolerate it, but you seem to be distressed by their heresy, or how to call it.
This is a colony that has been at peace from my parents to myself. I have no interest in disturbing that peace. Our focus is on survival and growth. But I will deal with threats when they become as such. Right now, it's just talk.
Okay.
So that is my advice.
So we'll be on our way then. Let's see if we could make appointment with Lear, I guess.
All right, so you guys kind of she's wheeled out and taken out, and then Stevens comes in with his group and offers to take you where you wish to go.
I will take the trinket back with the small statue that I had in
Sure.
the pocket. So
Yeah, same.
Can I get an android finger off that statue?
So smartly, you wait until she leaves, and you reach over
She
to
doesn't
this.
even like it.
You reach over to this thing, and it is firmly attached to the table, and it doesn't appear that you'd be able to pull anything off of it.
Okay.
gorilla glue. Oh, let's
Stevens,
Where do you want to go?
could you take us to Lear's art studio?
Yeah. So you follow Lear and his men. They take you through the hallways, the compartments, and takes you to a door unmarked, and he knocks with the back of his hand. Kung, 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 kung. The door opens, and there's a woman, probably one of the more elderly that you've seen so far between the dormitories and the people that have passed you in the different hallways. Easily mid to late 60s. She's in a hood kind of robe, but nothing like what son Franklin had. And she's blindfolded, and she reaches out and touches Stevens's face, and she goes, "Yes, Stevens, what can I do for you?" We got 4 noobs here that have come down, and for some reason, Sister Malta says that I can give them a tour, and they want to talk to you. Oh, of course. And she keeps touching his face. Of course. Yes. Let them in. And she kind of steps back to give you room. Stevens kind of like gestures for you to step in the room, and kind of under his breath, but he knew that you could hear him. He says, "I wouldn't stay there long."
Okay. Greetings. I'm Major Farrell, and these are my companion, Mr. Watts, Mr. Frankie. What's your surname?
Belfoy?
Belfoy, Mr. Belfoy, and Mr. Watts. So wait, and
Weights and watts.
yeah,
An accident.
it has come to our attention that you are basically the local artist, that you are responsible for those statues. That these were very interesting to us. How did you come up with that design?
It was a bit of a hallway, right? As you're kind of
okay.
having that conversation, she has her back to you, and she's not really saying anything. You're kind of following her through, and then she steps into the room, and it clears out, and you can now see to the studio. And it's a decent sized room. There's several tables. You see piles of materials all over the place. There's scrap metal over here. Seems to be soil over there. There's 2 students that are at 2 different tables, and they're working on their sculptures and kind of molding it. And you can tell already what they're sculptures of. In the back, you see, made out of bone, about 50% finished, a sculpture that, based on how big the base is, you would guess when it's finished, it might be 8 feet tall when it's done. And she welcomes, she goes, I'm teaching, but I'm happy to discuss. Would you like to join? Well, first of all, have you taken tribute and given tribute?
This is the reason why we are here. We want to know the colony to help us to make a decision if we will make the tribute and join you as well. So we haven't.
That's fair. That's fair. You're going to. We know what the eventual decision will be, but sure, I'm sure evaluating it would bring you peace of mind. What can I tell you? I don't have much to offer. Water.
Yeah, water sounds good. So is there anything, any obvious tribute besides like her sight, her eyes, I guess?
No,
Nothing else.
and to be clear, you can't tell that her eyes are gone, but
Mm.
it's a
Figures.
guess, right?
Okay.
So when did you start making these sculptures?
Oh, I've been sculpting years now, but this form, I don't know whether brother is speaking to me or to my students, but there's perfection in this form, and we try several different materials, several different sizes, and I feel perfection is here. We just have not reached it yet, and brother tells me in my dreams that great glory will come once we create the perfect piece for him.
And to you, what defines this perfection? And I mean, I also have art as a skill. I don't know if I could kind of dig in further by kind of being genuinely fascinated by this, but
She goes, well, I mean, here, let me show you a piece. And she brings you over, and there's a piece that's, I don't know, maybe like this big. So you could put both your hands around and your fingers wouldn't quite touch, right? So it's a little bit larger than that. And she's eerily familiar with the surroundings. So it's very rare that you realize that she can't see, right? But then she gets to the table, she navigates it without any trouble. She gets to the table, reaches over and picks this piece up and brings it over. And she goes, here's one of my latest. And she hands it to you. And it's like this white ivory, but when you grab it and start looking at it, you realize it's made of teeth.
Hmm.
And she goes, I tried teeth. I finished it. It's beautiful. Look, you can see. And she starts talking about the angle and the ratio between the top and the bottom circumference, and how she's tried different heights and different base sizes, and she's she's very into it and loves how reactive you seem to be with your questions, and just talks about finding the perfect form and the perfect material matched with the perfect shape.
so the way you're describing these to me, they sound like it's just the bottom of the cone. Am I misinterpreting that?
No. So imagine it's cylinder and shaped, but shaped like a cone, right? But it's like a cylinder, it's flat at the top and the bottom. So
Okay.
another way to think of it is imagine a cone where you've kind of lopped off the top third of it.
Okay.
Have you ever seen this shape represented in anything other than your art or dreams?
I haven't seen much, but no.
Has anyone else ever observed this shape on this planet or moon or otherwise in their life?
No, I believe it is truly divine. I don't think it is of the moon.
And just to be clear, the direction I was trying to head in with the artifact that I have now and the one that we're looking at, they're still identical in shape. It's not like this is a partial aspect of one. Like if I were to give her, okay.
Yeah, no, it seems like, and granted, they're not perfect replicas of shape, all right, but the same concept is the same
Okay.
kind of shape and thing. So, and this matches all the pieces that you saw on the Alexis. It matches the shape of that thing that was in the cargo hold of the Alexis, the large thing that had the people's heads attached to it.
Okay. So at this point, I say, well, this is uncomfortably holding this essentially bag of teeth. This is really something, and I put it down on the table, right exactly where it was.
And she, as soon as you set it down, she hears you set it down, and her hands go to like readjust it, and then she realizes that you put it exactly in the right place. I thought teeth was what it is. Now I'm working from the kitchen's bones. So as we slaughter goats and they've been kind in giving me some of the bone that they don't grind up, and I'm slowly building this, and my hope is that I get all the dimensions right, and that the material brings us closer to the gift that I'm sure that brother is promising us if we can reach perfection.
Is there
I
a
guess
class here right now?
There's 2 students there. Yeah.
I guess the teeth didn't bite. So, what about? I couldn't resist. I will get my trinket, the one I get from Lexus, and I will try to guide her, like to hand it out to her. We found out this outside of this colony. What do you think about it?
So she takes it from you. You lead her hand up, and she takes it, and you see her kind of manipulating it, and she's very quiet, and she's touches every part of it, and just kind of measures it with her hand. And this is exquisite. And you say this came from your ship?
It came from a ship, not our ship, but it's what we encountered out there.
She kind of puts it in her mouth and she bites it. She goes, "What is it? Wood? I can't. Is it wood?"
Probably, maybe it's some composite of wood and metal. This is one of them I found. So it was strange.
We long abandoned metal. I believe it has to be organic, but this is incredible work, and for it to come from not the moon and not from my studio and not from my classes, I have to tell Sister Malta. This is again proof of what I've been telling her, that this is from brother. That brother has extended his desire for perfection beyond this. This is amazing. She runs over to the student. She goes, look. They say that this didn't come from here. I don't know what materials this would be. It couldn't be from the moon. Feel it. Look, it's the shape.
So Arlo is just equally fascinated and horrified by this entire thing.
That's a reasonable reaction.
He's looking at all of these that are scattered around, checking out the materials and stuff like that. And he just kind of starts rattling off out loud like other types of materials that they could use, and then he slips out. Maybe they could use the tribute, and then kind of regrets saying that out loud.
Why, Mr. Waits? Why would you?
Oh, meat.
Even
we use goat meat and maybe mixed. Delanor, write that down. We should, if the bone is, that could be perfection to mixed with us.
Okay, please.
And using tribute to brother. Oh, that's fascinating. That's absolutely fascinating.
It's good to write it down. You might forget.
He's very interested. He's curious. I'm sorry in advance.
We have reason to believe that this shape may actually be nefarious.
Oh no, it's divine. It is divine, and the fact that you're familiar with it, that you bring the shape to the moon from out of the moon.
If you could,
it's divine. It has to be divine.
Maybe if you could elaborate on that vision of yours, could you provide us more detail how it appears to you?
Those are my dreams. Those are my dreams with brother. That's my time with brother. That is not for me to share. Maybe brother will bring it to you.
What if we make a trade? I will let you keep that as a present from me if you would share a few more details about your vision.
I can't tell you anything about the dream. I would love to have this though. So yes, if there's something here. She goes back over to the teeth. She goes, here, you liked this. Let you, I will trade you. You can have this if I can keep you a little one. Look how much, I think yours is closer to the, yes, I'm willing to trade this.
No, Frankie has this disgusted look, kind of blurts out, are there any spiritual sites or things around that maybe we can try to get our own visions? Like, what is there something here that could help us figure out what's going on?
Visions come at night. Visions come at night, and all of us have them. It is a truly blessed night if you have a vision, and even those that have come who never had visions before, when they hear, they get the visions. Have you slept?
Oh, well, you could say we slept.
Did,
Yes.
did
Frankie
brother
looks at his
visit
hands,
you?
goes,
Did you
"Yeah."
have a vision? It would feel like a dream, but it would be vivid. You would be there. You could smell the smells and taste the tastes. And he's telling you things in his visions, and it often takes several to piece together what brother is telling you.
Major will just briefly look at our friendly android there and just look back, and well, it didn't seem like we get much out of that dream. Probably it was just a dream.
Arlo
Oh,
scratches his stomach.
brother, I feel brother has already started his conversation. You are truly blessed.
Okay, maybe maybe he did. Yeah.
Where's Dean? That's what Frankie's like. Let's get the fuck out of here. Where's Dean?
So Lear, listen, right? Let's. You can keep this one as a present from me. Maybe later, we will need to talk to you or ask for your help. So that will be your gift to us.
Of course,
as a friend.
you'll have your tribute. You'll give your tribute. You'll be part of the colony. I'd be happy to teach you. And she's looking right at Arlo, or facing where Arlo was last time she talked to you. And she goes, and you would, I can tell that you would embrace this. This is this art, and pay attention when you sleep tonight. Pay attention to your dreams. That is brother speaking to you. And you hear a knock, and she's excuse me, and she kind of keeps her hand in front just to make sure she doesn't bump into one of you, and she goes up to the door to the studio, and she leans in. She goes, yes, they're here. Yeah, yes, Dean, of course. And your buddy, the kid, kind of dips his head around. He goes, hey, did you talk to the old lady?
Well, we did talk to her. So what you doing here, Dean?
I told you I'd give you the tour, right? Stevens goes, no, Dean, you're not giving anybody tour. Man, chill out. Stevens, you're so uptight. Look, man, how about this? You can have my bowl tonight, right? I just want to show these guys around and stuff. And I mean, what are we gonna do? Stevens is like, ugh. Yeah, but no goats. Yeah, I know, not the goats. I'm gonna just show them, like the facilities and stuff like that. It's all good, man. It's all good. Fine. Fine. So you're gonna go with the kid?
Yeah, before we follow Dean, I will just let Lear know, and be sure to check this win with Malta. She seemed really interested in the statues and in this message that we brought from the ship. You should really go to her and try to convince her that this is important thing. I think you're onto something.
You do? Did you talk to her?
We mentioned it briefly, but she didn't seem to make the connection as you did. So I think she needs your insight to understand it real good.
This could
Perhaps
be the
ask
proof.
her about the footage she's looking at as well.
The footage. This could be the proof, though. I've been trying to convince her that this is brother speaking to me, and the fact that you from off moon, that you bring this here. Thank you, and if you want this back, I'll give it to you. But I'm going to bring this to her now. This is fantastic. As soon as my class is finished.
Sure, go ahead. Just remember us that
Stir
it was
shit
us.
up.
And
Yo, you guys coming?
yeah, we're going, Dean.
Yeah,
We're going, and we go his direction and follow him.
We promise not to look at your goats, Stevens.
I look at Dean and go, "Where's the goats?"
So as you're kind of leaving, Stevens goes, well, guys, I guess we're on break. And the guards and him kind of chuckle as you head out down the hallway. And Dean is he's not walking. He's kind of half jogging. He's like, come on, keep up.
Oh, where's the rush?
Look, no one's in
I'm jogging with.
no one's in the radio room right now. You got to hear something. Come on.
Okay, let's do this then. Okay.
So you follow Dean, and he's very, very careful, checking corners as he's crossing through, very aware. He slows down and just walks casually when people like see him. And the reactions to Dean from the other people as they walk through, they're very fascinated by you. Some smile and kind of, even shake or high five Dean. Other people seem to have no time for Dean whatsoever and seem a little annoyed and disgusted by him. But finally, you weave your way through the tunnels and the different compartments, and you get to a room. And he goes, "Come on, in here." And he opens it up, and you see. But before you go in, you see a room that is just full of comms, different components, different radios, blacked out screens. Like it looks like just whatever type of comms or electronics or whatever is dumped in this room. He goes, come on, you got to hear this.
On our way, were we on some kind of camera where we like spotted that we were coming with Dean without Stevens?
You saw cameras every once in a while, but no, it's possible that you weren't tracked here. Real difficult to say though.
Okay, I will follow Dean inside. And what's this all about, Dean? What's happening?
Get in. As soon as the forward, you kind of get in. He's like, "Look, man, there's no chairs or nothing. Just." And he closes the door and he goes, "Did you guys give tribute? Did you accept the offer?"
No, not yet. Anyhow.
Okay, so that bitch is crazy. Because
I mean, are you trying to catch us to speak badly about her and get us like into trouble?
You'll figure it out. I mean, if you haven't figured it out yet, you'll figure it out. And she's just trying to control us, and me and my crew, we're starting to get converts here. And I'm telling you, Brecht is crazy. We ain't getting off this planet, and I'm not flying with him for 700 years. And dying, and then he talks about like, my great grandkids will be saved because of what I do. I'm not doing that. I'm getting off this moon. I'm telling you right now, and it's the planet.
What is?
We got to go to the planet.
What you talking about?
You must have saw it from your ship when they were dragging you in, right? You know this is a moon.
Yeah, but like. What's on the planet? How are we even getting there?
I'm hoping you're going to help me with that, but you got to check this out. So 2 weeks ago, a ship dropped into the ring, just like all the other ships do, but it didn't stop. And it flew down past the moon and hit the planet. And that old witch, she won't tell anybody about it, but I was there. I saw it. I was outside. I was walking to Brex and I saw that ship fly down and I saw it go to the moon. And 3 days ago, that's when I picked up the recording. Want to hear it?
Yeah, let's hear it then.
Yeah, without question, I was like, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Frankie hits his little body cam thing to record.
Oh, good.
In quiet,
Yeah.
just kind of click. Okay.
So you see all of these components are not functioning, right? But quickly Dean adeptly takes one component here and plugs it into there and pieces it into here and grabs a cord out of the wall and plugs it through, and he goes, come here. You got to listen. I can't get it real loud. I can't let anybody else hear it. Are you ready?
Well, that's because you have this wired to. Never mind.
So
I guess it's like Radio Shack there.
It is very much Radio Shack, exactly. So, which by the way, we've just dated ourselves, so that's good. Vast majority of people watching are now Radio Shack. What the hell is that? So you guys kind of lean in, and you hear this as he's kind of adjusting dials and stuff. And this is Lance Corporal Victoria Bradley. Allow me to repeat: Queen Omni Supreme 490. No one is going to hear this, so I'd like to make a confession. After the things we did in that forest, this is almost seems nice. Relaxing. No screams, no disputes, just rocks. and fishing with all the water. The captain is convinced there's a big payday here, some bomb, maybe some artifacts to loot and get rich off some antiques. Okay, now hold on. I'm going to play the other one for you. This came right after. So he unplugs this, unplugs that, seems to fiddle with it.
Did he say forest?
Oh, hold on, listen. It'll all be junk though. That seems just about our luck. At least this place is too empty for us to have any hostiles. Captain can't see the wasteland for the total emptiness, so still guard up. What's that saying the captain loves so much? The more hardship, the better. Well, at least the weather's nice, and the hardship. That came from the planet, and you heard her. That was 2 weeks ago. You heard her. She said water and fishing and a forest. We're up here struggling on this moon. We just got to get everybody to the planet. They got water. They got everything.
I don't know about you, gentlemen, but I prefer fish compared to goat meat.
I
Or
have never
human meat?
seen a forest before in my life.
I have no preference, but I agree the planet is a better option.
So what's your plan, kid?
Well, that's where you come in. What's it going to take to get your ship up? If I can get the screamer hooks off, if I can get Breck distracted, what would it take for you to get the ship off the moon?
The ship is out of commission, but we may be able to excavate enough for an escape pod or a shuttlecraft.
See,
Do we still have the shuttle? We don't, right?
Screamers took it, and then we blew it the fuck up.
So if I can get my crew at night to work on your ship, and if we can get that operational, one of you know how to fly it?
I could try.
I have
Frankie
standard
just nods. Yes, yeah, we can fly.
hyperspace piloting protocols.
Okay, and we'd have to get it charged, right?
Yeah,
so
that's
if I
the-
get you
That's
full
the main
charge,
problem.
why is that a problem?
Well, we were struggling to keep up the charge. There was some device, I guess, in the system that kept leaching the energy out of our ship, so we were not able to restore the cryopods. We were not able to do anything. Basically, that's why the leechers were able to get us.
Okay, so I get everything powered up on your ship, and you'll take me and my crew. We'll go to the
That's
planet.
That's how
The
many.
Alexis also has a shuttle pod.
I mean,
What's the Alexis? I don't know what the Alexis is.
It's a second ship that they haven't pulled down yet.
Are we better off pulling that one down? Is that in better shape?
let's keep that as a plan B, maybe.
Because I've got people on Breck's crew. I can have them pull it down when Breck ain't paying attention.
That's very good to know. But yes, let's try our ship first.
Let's keep this plan. Like, could you give a sign to your people to pull the other ship down in case we need to do that quickly, just in case to have a backup plan for us.
I mean, yeah, I'll talk to my crew tonight before they go on shift over at Breck's. But yeah, I'll let them know that they're given the word. They when Breck ain't paying attention, that they should bring that ship down. Holy shit, man! Like this might work. And how big is your ship? Can you take 20 of us?
20 of you, I guess, just to travel to the planet, it should be fine.
I mean, Susan did the math, and it would only take 4 days. And if I can get your ship up and running, if my crew can fix your ship and get it charged, you'll take us, right? You'll take us to the forests and the ocean, and so we can go fishing.
Yeah, we can go fishing, kid. I think we can make it.
Okay.
Would you be able to work on the ship provided we don't accept the tribute offer and we're exiled from the colony?
And you don't accept tribute, and they're just gonna kick you off, and they're gonna put guards around your ship, and they're just gonna watch you die. Like, I don't know how much food you got on there, and I don't know how long
many
you can
guards?
last, but I guarantee that Malta and her goonies can last longer than you can on that ship.
How many guards?
They'll surround it. They'll have 5-6 guards there. I won't be able to get my crew to the ship. You got to take the tribute. It's the
Well-
only way this is going to work.
We gotta pay the tribute as well.
Yeah, you got to take the tribute. You got to give the tribute. So she'll take the tribute and she'll grind it up, and then you'll eat the tribute, and all of us will get some of the tribute. And dude, it's not that big of a deal. And he lifts up his shirt, and you see a scar right about maybe where his liver or his pancreas might be. Because everybody does it. It's not that big of a deal. Ripper's good at this stuff, man.
You'd have to be with a name like that.
Look, do we have a deal?
Get your crew ready, and we'll decide on the next steps.
Let's see on the in the evening before we go to bed. Let's confirm our plan. We need to still look around and see that this is good to go.
All right, cool. All right, so before lights out in the dorm, I'll send one of my girls, right? It'll be a girl, one of my crew. I'll send one of the young ones because nobody pays attention to them. And you know what? We need a code word. What's the code word? What code word should we use? Like, you tell her a code, and I'll know that we're go.
Tomato.
That's awesome. All right. So I will send a kid to you, and don't let nobody hear you. You just say, you tell him tomato, and then I'll know you're go. Okay. Like, but if you say anything else, like if you say goat or anything else like that, then I'll know it's a no go, right? And like we'll catch up and stuff like that. But tonight, before dorm, if she comes back to me and says tomato, then I'll know we're go. Is that cool?
Cool,
Okay,
kid.
cool. Oh, it's gonna work. And he kind of hops up and he's like super excited. And he goes, all right, look, I gotta take you back to Stevens, okay?
Yeah, right. That was the deal.
And
yeah.
oh geez, where have we been? Shit, they're gonna ask me where I took you. All right, check it out. So I took you to the med chapel, right? Okay, but let's just say that Ripper wasn't there, but you saw the med chapel, right? So I showed you the med chapel. Let's see. I took you to the garden, to her garden with all the sculptures in it. I took you there, okay? And then, I'd get in trouble if I said the vault.
What
right,
vault?
that's
you mean
enough,
with the
right?
goats?
What about goats?
No, don't tell.
No,
Don't
we
say-
were forbidden. Yeah.
No, we didn't see no goats.
So the Met Chapel, then we visited the garden with the sculptures.
Yes,
and then we
so
went
let's say that you guys asked me, oh, this is good. Let's say that you asked me a bunch of questions about the sculptures because you were like wicked into that weird shit, right? And I took you to Lear's sculpture garden and I showed you around there, and then like you guys like were like stupid like spending time there, and then after that I took you to the med chapel to see Ripper, but Ripper wasn't there, but I showed it to you anyway, and then that's where we're leaving from, right? So we're gonna go follow me, and we're gonna take you back like you were coming from med chapel, okay?
Let's be
Okay.
vague about who was and wasn't in a certain place.
What?
Let's be vague about whether we ran into particular people or
Oh, dude,
not.
Stevens is going to go up one side of me and down the other. He's going to want to know exactly where we were. That's the plan, though, right? You guys can back it up, right? Do you need to write it down? You got it?
Yeah, we got it. We went to the garden and then we to the Met Chapel. Ripper wasn't there, and then we traced back.
Hot damn, this is going to work. Let's fade to
Going
black.
all
Let's go to
tomatoes,
credits.
yeah.
We'll be right back.
I don't believe that child is.
No, that was the scene with the sculptures.
All right, we are back. Hey, 8-Bit, thanks for the follow, by the way. We do appreciate that. All right, so we took at least a month and a half off between episode 3 and episode 4, which was a natural transition because this is really another kind of set, right? Kind of an act 2 in the Dead Planet. I'm going to start with you, DZ. You had all kinds of time to think about what this colony is and what the hell was going on here. Anything surprise you, or is everything what you theorized?
The religion of this group is still puzzling to me, like who the leaders are and how devout they are and how it works. And I don't know how much of that is going to matter necessarily to the plan, but yeah, that's my biggest question mark right
Yeah. How about for you, Frankie? Or Nick, sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say, wait, there's a Frankie. Yeah, I like this session because it was a social. It was figuring out what in the world's going on, and I said it during the credits, but it just dawned on me that this moon we're on is attached to a freaking planet, and there's other options here. I don't know why it just dawned on me then, but it was like, oh no shit. But yeah, a lot of questions. The religion thing, I think Frankie's worried about, but is willing to get away from it as fast as possible and not dive too close into it because he saw his friends and people on the ship die or be stranded left behind and was doing all this crap. And I'm excited to see what happens with this next session. So
What from a character standpoint, like where is Frankie on this whole thing? I mean, that's your ship with all the people that you know have been with for the better part of a decade,
yeah,
but is now just stranded up there.
But again, he is still this low level security guard that, although had friends and people that he knew on that ship, he's still just trying to survive. I think it's in the back of his head of I will try to do something for them if possible, but at the end of the day, I don't want to eat human flesh on this damn planet or on this moon, and figuring out what the hell to do next.
So, and obviously you're going to have time to figure that out because we'll schedule again to try to get together here in the next couple of weeks. But is there anything top of the list for Nick the player or Frankie the character as far as something you want to make sure happens in episode 5?
Nothing rings a bell. I'm loving the ride so far. It's been kind of a roller coaster of social action, puzzle, and now it's social again, trying to figure out what's going on and getting these stories and it's good stuff.
How about for you, Kyle? This was definitely shifting gears, so very different episode than we had in episodes 1, 2, and 3. How do you feel about an investigative social episode?
Oh, I had a lot of fun this time around. I think that it was kind of a nice sidestep to the heavy panic combat near death situations that we were constantly being thrown into.
Yeah.
Instead, it's kind of the slow meat grinder, but
Don't say meat grinder. I don't like it.
It's too soon, Kyle.
But yeah, no, I had a lot of fun with it. I want to get off this moon as quickly as possible, but I'm having fun being curious about every sort of situation as a character. This is how I play characters. I write a little note, so this is mine. Be curious for Arlo.
Phenomenal.
So
That's
that's
cute.
that's the drive for everything. That's why I kind of became obsessed with. Ever since he got that little artifact, it's kind of the hook for him. So pushing
Yeah.
that further, I think I'd really like to take Arlo into the next layer of whatever that story unfolds as.
I'm also very curious about what the connection is between what's happening on the Alexis and all this statue nonsense.
It everybody always talks about like GM notes and you know, everything like that. I'm a huge fan of player notes, and doing stuff like that, Kyle, is fantastic. Because you know, it allows you to stay in character and stay focused, because it's really easy, especially in an episode like this, to start just playing Kyle, right?
Right.
And because, you know, we're not rolling a bunch of dice, we're not looking at stats. So
Yeah,
I love
Kyle
that.
would have just hung out on our ship the entire time. It's like, no, just leave me the hell alone.
F all y'all.
Right.
How about for you, Vaslev? How different was this from what you were thinking about over the last several weeks?
So I knew that I would be fronting this group a bit because of the nature that I'm the major, and there's a lot of things to like do around, and I was preparing from the mindset of the major, who is like, I based it on the skill that he's a more of a tactician soldier, not that skilled with the combat itself. He can hold his ground, but he's more thinking about the options they have, the backup plans, and the backup plans of those. So he's like going around thinking, okay, there's one camera here, we have some blind spots. Then there's this kid that has a plan, but isn't that convenient that the first kid that we found has this plan? What if if this doesn't work out? Like, and he's thinking like the leader of this group is working here already. We have a time frame of 40 years around ish, I think. And she must have been pretty good to keeping people safe here and keeping tabs on everyone. So I guess like she knows the key people and she's following them. So we need to be
She's obviously
careful.
has some level of competence, right?
Exactly. So this is all the things that are going through Major's head, and he's trying to find a way that would be the, let's say, to plot the course of the next steps, to have the safe way, to have a backup plan. Maybe that's why he was stirring shit up with the statues to, you know, make some distractions, and maybe more of those will need to happen. But we'll see.
So McBluff says in the chat, he says, this county feels like a slightly less awful terminus from The Walking Dead, which is that's an interesting analogy. McBluff, that's really funny. All right, so let's do shout outs and plugs real quick. Kyle, any shout outs or plugs?
Check out Vagrant Song. I don't know.
So yes,
There you go.
For those of you watching, you can go to our YouTube channel, watch Kyle and I, and see Nick was there. Who else was with us?
Jim.
Roman?
Jim. Yep, Jim. People know Jim from the channel, and then yeah, so awful. I record all this stuff. Anyway, you can see us do a live play, but this is a game that Kyle designed. It's a wonderful board game, and I'm sure I've said this to you before, Kyle, but getting the physical copy and seeing the quality of the components, dude, like you guys did not cut a corner. It's real impressive, and it's a great game. So if you're into co-op boss battlers, definitely check out Vagrant Song, and they can just go to Weird Games website to snag that up, or your local game store. How about you, Nick? Any shout outs or plugs?
Yeah, definitely Vagrant Song. Support your content creators as usual, and I think Mothership has a Kickstarter.
They do. So it's when we're recording this, it is late October. From the rumblings that we hear, and I'm not offering something this is not inside information. I think their Tuesday Night Games is looking at early November to do this Kickstarter.
Oh wow.
And it's going to be the actual first full release of Mothership. Up to this point, it's always been called a beta. I'm very excited. In a couple of weeks, I've got an interview with Sean McCoy, and Sean and I are going to talk about this game, which obviously I'm a huge fan of, and how this game came to be. And then we're going to obviously spend some time talking about the Kickstarter. So that'll come out about a couple weeks into the Kickstarter. We'll drop that. So that's Third Floor Wars. The name of the podcast is Tabletop Talk. You can get in all the podcatchers. But yeah, this is so good. Vaslev, shout outs, plugs.
So I think it would be I can't wait to get my hands on Vagrant Song. I really like boss battlers. It's something I see. Even I believe behind Kyle, I can see that there is this Kingdom Death Phoenix figure.
Yeah, right over here.
I believe so. I have a feeling that he likes these kinds of games as well. So can't wait to get my hands on it. And
it's good. And
yeah.
I gotta say, Bayou Bash is good too, man. There's the game you put out about the same time. We had a ton of fun playing that too. Vagrant Song, we only got one play in at the campsite, just because it takes time. Takes time to teach and stuff like that. But we had fun with it. But I played in 2 of them, but there was 3 total Bayou Bash games played, because it was just so quick, right? It's quick to learn.
Right up.
That's fun. That's good stuff. DZ says that we're a bunch of nerds and he didn't want to talk to us. So are you there, DZ, or is your just camera off? Where'd you go?
I think he had to.
He had to go.
Yeah,
He had to bounce. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. For those of you that watching this whole time, I appreciate it. We're going to quickly do a raid, subscribe, the whole deal. And thanks to everybody who was in chat, of course. So let's raid. Let's go see what Ractus is doing. He's only got 2 people watching, so let's send him a few people. Let him know that the Third Floor Wars sent you. Take care, everybody. Thanks, guys.
Cheers.
Take care, y'all.